Fantasy football podcast called Living the Stream comes to you each week. Streaming recommendations during NFL season, it's not just tongue-in-cheek. Quarterback, defense, tight end recommendations based on opposition matchup. Here are your podcast hosts, JJ Zacharyson and Danny Carter, living the stream.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Living the Stream. I'm JJ Zacharyson, the late round quarterback, and as always, I'm joined by my lovely co-host, Denny Carter. Denny, what's going on?
Well, JJ, I will say that my internet is good. How about yours? How's your internet?
How does this happen? How's this happen? Last year, we had the debacle of the other internet service coming into my neighborhood and them cutting the cords constantly. Now, this year, and I didn't have an issue then after that was over, all off season and into the summer,
Right.
No issues, no real issues, right?
Nothing.
And then literally on Saturday, I lose connection, message AT&T, which, by the way, anyone listening to this, they're never going to sponsor this. Never, if you're about to choose an internet service, do not choose AT&T. Don't choose AT&T. Don't do it.
There goes our
For
million.
the love of God, do not do it. Save yourself this rage that I feel right now.
Oh yeah, you're mad.
Goes out on Saturday.
No.
And I was grilling, middle of grilling. Internet goes out. I start chatting with them while I'm grilling. That's a really great activity while you make steaks and chicken. Is chatting with an AT&T rep.
Oh man, that's the life. That's the life. You're grilling. You're drinking a little. You're talking to AT&T.
Yeah, it's just great. And so they were like, "Oh yeah, I fixed something on my end." You know, there were some things in the cord. You know, that's the only thing that like that makes sense to me is that there's just like objects in the fiber cord,
Right.
that's going to my house that they somehow vacuumed out. You know, like a Disney movie. You know, they have like little people that go through, and you know they fix the issue, right? So the internet comes back. It's still slow. They're like, oh, it'll be like 24 hours. It'll be slow. 24 hours passes. Still not very fast. I then call AT&T. I talk to AT&T again. I go, we're going to send you a new router. Okay, cool. I'll get a new router. That sounds fun.
Yeah.
They sent me the router. I put it up today. Everything's great when I first install the router. And then obviously right before we go live with this show, there were things in the cords again.
Yeah, we got to get those things. I hate when things get in the cords. You know, that is one thing we try to avoid. I will say that my employer, Comcast, provides very reliable and good internet service for those looking for something.
Wow. So okay. I was gonna say you're gonna stand a cable company here, but
a massive, all-encompassing corporation that gives me a deal on internet services. I will stand. We will stand, as the Zoomers say.
Do you see how long my hair? I need a haircut really bad. I'm getting one on Thursday. Thank God.
Yeah.
I hate it. I hate it now when my hair is like this, where I feel like a teenager. You know, like I'm not capable of leaving my home to get a haircut, and it's just long and gross, and I look horrible, and I'm just ready to get it cut.
Yeah, you look awful. I'll be honest.
I agree. You got a haircut though.
I did get a haircut. You see, it's not as short as usual.
And did you say, hey, do it like this, or did you say, hey, do it as you normally do, and I'll style it?
Yeah, no, I have trust issues with the hair, so I just said cut it as normal. I said leave a little more than usual, because I don't know if you know, but like I get it like down to the skin on the sides usually. So
yeah, what do you do, like a number one on the sides, or do you actually go from skin to, what do they call it whenever you fade with like skin?
Oh no, it's not like that.
Paper?
No. But actually the place I go, JJ, is so fancy that I one time asked for a number 2 on the sides, and she goes, "Oh, I don't use those blades."
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So hey, look, I've been going to the same person for 10 years, Nicole, at barber at Hell's Bottom in DC. So I do enjoy her haircuts.
Index of suspicion in chat says taper. I said taper. I corrected myself. I owned it right away. Yeah, I go to a real barbershop, Denny. I don't know if you've heard, and it's not the greatest of clips. As folks know, I retired from there about a year and a half ago with the bathroom debacle. You remember that the hairdresser was evidently just in the bathroom and locked the whole store up, and I was waiting for 20 minutes, about to leave, and then someone else came and she let him in because she just happened to come out of the bathroom right when he got there, and then as a result, number one, he got poop particles all over his head, so get owned. But number two, I said no more gray clips. This is absurd. This is bad hospitality. I'm going to my local barber. The local barber that I go to is phenomenal. It's just such a better. It's like an extremely pleasant experience just being at a local barber shop. Yeah,
that's great, man. How long does it take you to get there?
It's only 5-10 minutes away from my house. It's in downtown Davidson, North Carolina.
I believe it's pronounced Downton.
Downton, Davidson, North Carolina. Yeah, I live in Davidson, North Carolina. So it's right there, right downtown, and I can just drive there 5 minutes away and be downtown and see my barber. It's great.
I have a 37-minute helicopter ride from Maryland to DC to get my hair cut. By the way, Joe Biden flew over my head as I entered DC the other day to get my hair cut. Yeah, it was really crazy. I was like, oh yeah, I'm at the epicenter of power in the world. I forgot.
Yeah. So you still go to the same spot in DC?
I do. It is quite the thing to get there. I basically have to take a day off of work to go get my hair cut.
So how long does it take that for you to? Because how far is DC from where you live?
Well, I mean, you could get to like the outskirts of DC in like 20 minutes from where I live, maybe 15 even. But if you want to get into like downtown DC, you're talking because of the traffic. I mean, you're talking 45 minutes, 55 minutes, maybe. So it is a trek. By the way, Sam Shower calls me the biggest sellout in the industry, which is saying something because this is an industry full of sellouts.
Yeah,
so I am happy to have that crown. I had to work hard for it, Sam.
Yeah, it's very true. I remember you took the train whenever we met in downtown DC the one time.
Yes, and that is a pain in the butt.
Yeah, you did it for me though.
Oh no, I was happy to do. Yeah, don't get me wrong, and also I wanted to drink, so you know.
Yeah, right, sure.
That plays a factor. But it's a horrible experience. The metro experience in DC is horrific.
Look how bad this is right now, Denny. Like my hat situation is horrible. Everything's horrible.
What's your sideburn situation right now?
Oh, I can't. No, Denny, I can't. I can't. It's horrible. Everything's horrific. Okay, I just got done raging about this internet thing, and now you're asking to see my sideburns. No, I need them. I need everything shaved.
Yeah.
I'm like 2 weeks late with my haircut.
That's funny.
It's bad. I'm gonna actually wear this maybe I'll wear this forward and say go Penguins.
I've never seen you wear a hat forward before. You look like you're from 1998.
I know. Look, so these hats, you know, the hats that people wear now, like the squared, more of the squared look, right? With instead of like the floppy look that you go with. So I only wear it backwards though, because doing it forward is a bad look with these kinds of hats, right? Yeah, someone said, "No, turn the hat back, JJ." Yeah. But here's the thing. These hats can fit my head. Do you see how much space I have going right here? Like most hats would be up here on me, but this one's at least down here.
It's a big hat for a big head.
That's right. So I buy the hats. I never wear them forward for reasons I just showed on you know, if you guys want to look, I'm not going to drive too much traffic here, but if you want to see the hat forward, I wore it forward for 20 seconds there.
Yes. So you can watch that. By the way, I have the sense that Sam in the comments is a Vikings fan. Vikings fans are very mad at me because I suggested that Justin Jefferson might not play again this season.
Yeah, I mean that was a pretty hot take.
I know.
No, you didn't just say he wouldn't play this season. You said he would never play for the Vikings again.
I mean, but yeah, he's not going to play next year.
This day, and look, this intro to the show, I don't even care anymore. I don't care. We lose Justin Jefferson. We lose Devon Achane. We lose James Conner, who I don't even have a ton of, but I still don't want to lose him. Like we these injuries happen, right? My daughter's bus doesn't show up this morning. I had to drive her to school, right?
Oh,
Yeah, like just that's going on. My hair looks like a butthole. My internet has insects in it. Like I don't know how much worse from a first world problem perspective things could get for me right now.
yeah,
I don't know.
And that is a tough first world day for you. I hope that you can get the hair situation squared away.
Thursday morning, I'm going in 8 a.m. cut. My wife is taking care of the kids that morning. I'm usually the one that takes someone said old anus hair JJ. Wife's taking care of the kiddos in the morning so that I can get this mop fixed. It is I understand how fortunate I am that I have thick hair and it's gonna bless me throughout my adult life.
Yes.
But it is obnoxious when you don't get to the hair to the barber. It's obnoxious.
Yeah. Oh, having such thick, glorious hair, it's tough. People don't know how tough it is. JJ knows how difficult that can be. I have a bus story real quick. Just while we're just in mid-season form, we're just vamping right now.
Yeah.
2 years ago, I dropped the kids off at the bus stop, or I don't usually drop them off at the time, but because they were too small, right? But I had to because folks, I had something brewing. Okay, I had a number 2 going, and
some chili at home. Okay,
I needed to walk home. I had oatmeal, I had coffee, and I was ready to go. Okay, and so I had to get home. It was an emergency. Okay, and so I said, okay, guys, listen, Daddy's got to go home. You guys stay here. The bus will be here in 1 minute. Literally, it was 1 minute from when the bus usually gets there. Okay. So I go home. I do my business. 20 minutes later, my kids walk into the house crying.
Oh no.
I'm like, wait, what? What's going on? What are you doing here? The bus didn't come. We didn't know what to do. They had to cross the street, first of all, which is horrifying.
Yeah.
So the bus never came, and none of the other adults helped me out. None of the other adults.
That's annoying.
I live right across the street.
That's annoying. You know what? My wife always makes fun of me because when I get frustrated or what have you, my phrase that always comes out. You ready? The phrase that I say when just S is hitting the F, right? is of I say of all days, this is the day that this thing is happening. And so I say it and she immediately mocks me every time that
funny.
I say it.
That's funny. Of all days, this day.
Yeah.
You sound like my mom.
This is the day. This is the day that my internet decides to go out. Right when I'm about to record this podcast. This is the day. This is the day that my daughter's bus doesn't come. The day that Devon Achane might go on IR. That's the day. That's really of all days. Of all
any
days,
other day.
That's the day.
That's a good one. That really does sound like my mom.
Oh yeah, it's probably the most boomer thing that I do.
Yeah.
For sure is the of all days.
Well, because boomers, that's how boomers used to talk to us kids. They would be like, you're gonna pull this shit of all days on today. Right. You could have pulled it yesterday. You could have pulled it tomorrow, but no, you chose today.
Right. Of all days. Well, of all weeks, last week we decided to stream Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
And he scored 9 fantasy points, 8.5, 8.6. Josh Dobbs, 8.7. But Sam Howell, our Lord and Savior of quarterback streamers, Sam Howell, 25.4 points in what ended up being a shootout against the Chicago Bears, where how many straight dropbacks did Washington have in that game? They had 51 or 55 or something?
Yeah, 55. Yeah.
Something insane dropbacks because they fell behind and Eric Bieniemy is just like, screw it. Is there, so let's just real quick about Eric Bieniemy. Do you have a hot take about Bieniemy and the way that things are going there right now?
I think only catastrophe could prevent him from being the head coach next year.
You think he's going to be a head coach? You still, even with their performance to start the year and the way that their offense has been, you think that he is going to be head coach? I think Ron Rivera's dust.
Oh yeah, he's done. Yeah.
Yeah. He's definitely done.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, I guess Bieniemy is a little prickly apparently, so maybe not. I don't know. It's hard to say. I don't have a hot take.
Yeah. My take is he needs to learn that Jahan Dotson's good at football.
I mean, 10 targets for McLaurin and Dotson combined.
Yeah, they had like a horrible target share. I mean, it's just a silly offense.
10 out of 51.
He's literally using it's literally the Chiefs offense from last year, just personnel wise and target share wise in this environment. It's a ridiculous way of utilizing this talent.
It's just dawning on me that the joke about Logan Thomas taking on the Travis Kelce role is not a joke.
Yeah, I know. Well, good segue there, Denny, because we did stream Logan Thomas last week, and he had 20.7 PPR points. Hayden Hurst had 5.1. Zach Ertz found the end zone. He had 9. Jonnu Smith had 10.7. So not bad for Jonnu. I mean, Kyle Pitts had a good game too. So it was just,
I know.
They finally let Dez cook. Am I right? In that Atlanta offense.
God, I'm so upset over that.
Let Dez cook. Let's go.
40% of the Falcons' targets have gone to the tight end position this year. 40%.
It's a bizarre offense. Very bizarre offense. And then at defense, we had Green Bay. They scored 7. Detroit, they scored 7. And the Washington Commanders, they scored -1.
Oh,
Not great.
Nevertheless,
let's move on to week number 6. 2 hands now, not just one hand. We have to use a second hand to say that it's 6. Why don't you kick things off with a quarterback?
Yeah, we're back to Samuel Howell IV against Atlanta. So after last week, Washington now leads the entire NFL in pass rate over expected, including the Chiefs. I don't think I've seen this in the Mahomes era where some team has a higher pass rate over expected, but hey, we have that going for us. I love it. Actually, it's actually amazing. Falcons have, a middling pass defense by almost every measure. And also I found this little stat: 78% of the touchdowns scored against the Falcons this year have come through the air. That is the 4th highest rate in the NFL.
I am going to say that we should pivot to, let's go to Josh Dobbs next. Not that I think that he's the second best streamer. I don't think he's the second best streamer. We really didn't see that much rushing from him this past week. That's a big red flag. He only ran the ball once against Cincinnati. It was totally different than what we had seen in previous weeks. Part of that might be because, he wasn't under pressure, under duress the same way. And I'm not sure we're going to necessarily see that against the Rams, because the Rams, despite, having like an Aaron Donald, they haven't had, an above average pass pressure rate to start the year. So I don't know if he's going to be, under duress and forced to escape the pocket. But the Rams have been below average against quarterbacks this year when you're looking at passing EPA per dropback allowed. They haven't been good at, like I said, getting into the quarterback. It's the 15th best matchup in adjusted fantasy points allowed. So it's a pretty average matchup. Arizona has a team total over 20. James Conner doesn't sound like he's going to be good to go. It sounds like he's going to be out for weeks now, not just
a week. Yeah, many weeks.
And so with him being out, maybe they change it up a little bit in the way that they approach, the goal line and then in the red zone. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm not really that high on Josh Dobbs. I think he's probably I haven't done my rankings yet, but I would assume I think only the Steelers and Packers are on bye this week. And so, there's a lot of options, if you will. There's a lot more options from a ranking perspective. So I would imagine he's probably going to be in like the QB 20-ish range. I don't even like him the most of the 4 that we're talking about today.
I can't stop thinking about my Justin Jefferson post and how I'm getting whipped in the quote retweets. So sorry if I'm distracted.
Is it still going?
Oh my God, it's going very strongly, and we are. Let me
peel back this curtain a little bit. So, I have a question for you.
Yes.
When you send tweets like this, okay? When you send tweets like this, do you enjoy this moment, this feeling, this constant barrage of people coming at you based on that tweet?
Yeah, and people are being very mean online. I will say that. Do I enjoy it? I think it feeds the dopamine receptors in my brain.
Yeah.
I think that's the main draw, basically.
I've gotten to the point where I genuinely now hate it.
You hate it?
There are probably 3 things I hate more than when I would send a tweet that then gets just insane hate on
Yeah.
on
But
Twitter.
I just so you know, I ignore all of it. Like I don't reply to any of these people. So you know, I understand. Look, Vikings fans, they're coping, they're huffing that copium, you know, as hard as they can. It's over. The Jefferson era is over. Sorry, guys. So I had to break it to them, I guess. But yeah, no, I mean, part of me enjoys it, part of me definitely does not. Anyway, we can move on to the next.
Yeah, it's a lot easier also to cope with during the day until then at night you're doing stuff with your family or you're eating dinner and you're doing whatever, and then you're naturally, because you're human, you open up your phone and something's going on and then you get distracted and then you feel bad about it, right?
That's right. No, it leads to that sort. So I actually find myself like planting traps for myself to continue the engagement. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like even if I'm like, okay, I just got to get off of the internet for the next like 6 hours or whatever, but I'll plan a trap. You know, hey, Justin Jefferson is finished as a Viking, and we can't get offline. You have Vikings fans literally threatening your life for the next like it's 4 hours at least.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, it's bad. It's bad. And it's worse. So at least when you sent that, you knew that there was going to be some pushback, like some ounce of pushback, right? Like,
yeah,
that's a tweet where you can objectively look at it and say, okay, this is me being semi-controversial to get a rise out of a fan base to some degree. Maybe not to the degree that it happens, but to some degree. The worst is when you send a tweet where that's not the intent at all.
Yes.
And then that happens. That's the worst.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. But okay. I know obviously you don't agree with what I said, but can we agree on the fact that Justin Jefferson doesn't look thrilled about his life on the field at the moment?
Yeah. Look, I don't think the Vikings are going to allow him to not be a Viking, but I think that there's no need in this situation where he's at with his career and his contract for him to rush back and, you know, be anything but 100% playing.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that makes sense. I like that take, and we'll just go with that. All right. I have Derek Carr playing the Texans. The Texans don't really jump out as like an anything funnel, but they are a little bit vulnerable on the deep ball. They were just ripped by Desmond Ridder of all people. So before that, they shut down Kenny Pickett, which is not hard to do. But before that, Trevor Lawrence had an efficient day against this Houston defense. So I think Derek Carr is fine, but I'd rather have Howell myself.
Yeah, I think he's fine too. The one that I think is maybe on Howell's level is Baker. Baker gets Detroit this week, and what could be, you know, a decent back and forth game potentially. Detroit's a 10th best matchup by adjusted fantasy points allowed for quarterbacks. Tampa Bay's implied totals above 20 points. Baker has shown already his 2 QB1 performances. He's shown that he can give us some fantasy relevancy. And, you know, could be a pass heavy script for Tampa Bay. Detroit, given the fact they're good. And they're also really good at stopping the run. But they faced the third highest pass rate in football so far this season. So I don't mind Baker. Would you be playing Sam Howell over Baker this week?
Gosh, the pass volume for Washington is so appealing. I think I would.
Yeah.
I also think that I don't know, the Detroit defense scares me a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's fair. I haven't really decided, but I think that it's fair if you would want to go you know, Howell over Baker. Let's move on to tight end. We only have 2 actually because there's not that much going on at the position. I'll just continue the conversation about Washington and talk about Logan Thomas.
Yeah.
He has a 27.6% target share in week 1, a 23% target share in week 2. In week 4, week 5. My gosh. So he's been at a 23% target share or better in half of his games because he missed 1 game. Very strong route participation. He's run on 75% of their dropbacks in 3 of 4 games this season. Now, I know people are going to say, oh, they faced Chicago last week. It was an easy opponent. You know, that's why Logan Thomas went off. And yeah, that was part of our, you know, theory as to why he was a good streaming play. But now he gets Atlanta, and Atlanta's the second best matchup in adjusted points allowed to tight ends to start the year. So whether we want to believe it or not, I think that it continues to be Logan Thomas season.
Atlanta's giving up a lot of production in the middle of the field. We saw that last week with Dalton Schultz getting 10 targets out of nowhere, out of absolutely nowhere. So yeah, Logan Thomas, in that Travis Kelce role. He's strong, folks. He's strong.
Yeah. And he's only 46 years old doing it too. I mean, he's still got plenty of time left.
It's true. It's true. Hey, don't speak ill of 40-somethings.
True.
Dawson Knox, he has a wrist injury. It's hard to say how serious it is. Dalton Kincaid, the other Bills tight end, has a brain injury. It's hard to say how serious that is. He's in the concussion protocol. So just monitor that situation. If Kincaid is out this week, then Dawson Knox becomes interesting. Knox and Kincaid have combined for a 21% target share while largely splitting pass routes, although Kincaid has taken a lead of late. But I think Knox would be really interesting if Kincaid is sidelined.
Moving on to defense, after talking up Sam Howell and Logan Thomas, I'm going to say, hey, Atlanta makes some sense as a streamer this week. I'll say the streaming defense options this week suck. I mean, they're really bad. Like it's just not easy to find worthwhile defenses off the waiver wire this week. But Washington is fifth worst in pressure rate allowed, or fifth best, depending on how you want to look at that.
Right.
They're second worst in sack rate allowed. So they're allowing a lot of pressure. They're getting to Sam Howell a lot. And remember, those are rate statistics, right? So they're dropping back to pass at a higher rate than most teams in the league, especially over expected. And so when you drop back to pass more and more from a volume perspective and from a cumulative perspective, you're going to get more sacks and more turnovers, etc. So that's where, from a matchup standpoint, things are great. The problem is that Atlanta's bottom 5 in the league in pressure rate themselves defensively. So I'm not overly excited about what they might be able to generate. The matchup kind of there overall because Washington's been pretty friendly this season, but Atlanta's 2.5-point home favorites. You could just look at that and just say the process.
Yeah, we have another favorite here at the Vikings, 2.5-point favorites at Chicago. So I know Justin Fields is fresh off of ripping our Commanders, who we recommended last week, based on opposition matchup. But Fields was still sacked on 10% of his dropbacks last week, which is a very high rate. It's kind of coincides with the rest of his season being sacked all the time. Despite the very good Thursday night outing, Justin Fields is still 22nd in completion rate over expected. So not exactly losing his loose cannon status. I guess the hope here is that the Vikings get, to a lead and Justin Fields is forced to drop back in obvious pass situations. But I'm not crazy about the Vikings defense, obviously.
I think my internet's getting bad again, so just be ready, Denny. Be on the lookout for something to happen. Okay,
I'll take it from here.
So the last one I'm going to go with Vegas against New England. The Patriots have been above average, actually at limiting pressures this year, but they have a statue back there, so they're actually top 10 in sack rate. So they're not allowing a ton of pressures, but they're allowing a decent amount of sacks. The Pats have scored 6 touchdowns all year long. Only the Giants and Steelers are worse by scoring 5 touchdowns all year long. Raiders are 6-point favorites in this game, which is also pretty crazy. And if you look at the fantasy defenses against New England this year, Philly week 1 ranked 5th, Miami ranked 8th. The Jets were 21st. They had a mediocre game, but again, game script didn't really favor the Jets in that game. Dallas 2nd, the Saints were 1st. I mean, teams are just obliterating this Patriots offense right now, whether they're good defenses. I mean, they've all been pretty good defenses, so keep that in mind. But I do think that the Raiders, who've actually played fairly well over the last game and a half defensively, I think the Raiders make some sense this week at home as 6-point favorites against New England.
That's crazy, man. How you are down horrifically if you're 6-point dogs to the Raiders. My God.
Yeah. So you got Vegas, Minnesota, and Atlanta. You have Dawson Knox and Logan Thomas. You have Josh Dobbs, Baker Mayfield, Derek Carr, and Sam Howell. All right, now I gotta load up these questions because all of my you know what? All of my for some reason my
Do you want me to read it? Do you want me to read it to you?
Yeah, can you go here? We're gonna do this. Go to the Living the Stream account and look at the liked messages because I like all of them that we're gonna read on the show. And because of my internet, I logged out of the Living the Stream account. So this is all on you, Denny. This is all you.
All right. I'll take it. I'll take it over. All right. Hopefully you can stick with us through this last segment here. Thank you for sending your questions, folks.
Yeah.
All right. So we have we have Preston. Preston asks, I'm not gonna do the JJ thing and
Oh
do
wow,
the
you're not doing the handles?
the P Zantello 40 says, what is the most psychotic thing you guys would do as kids? The most psychotic thing.
Mine is probably just the amount of sugar I would eat.
Right.
Like thinking back, like I mean, I've already told the eating the peanut butter M&Ms and vomiting everywhere story, but there's some psychotic behavior with my food back when I was like 8 years old.
So I don't know if I qualify as a kid, but when I was 17, I worked at a golf course, and I would go out on the driving range to pick up the balls with the little cart,
Yeah.
and sometimes the cart would break down, or sometimes the baskets of balls would overturn. So, you'd have to fix that. And I would just get out of the cart and while people are hitting golf balls onto the range. And I literally could have died. Like, one ball hits you in the temple and you're actually dead.
Yeah.
But I did that like several times and just walked around while balls are whizzing past me like bullets. And that was dumb. So that I would say that's psychotic. All right, you ready for the next one?
Yeah, I got into the account, so I'm gonna take over my role on this show, Denny. Guys, you guys need to all just tell Denny that he's not good in that role, and that
I was struggling.
I need to be the speaker of this house. Is what's going on.
All right, McCarthy.
Yeah. Next question at Joshua Knust. In reference to the Miami Hurricanes debacle, this needs to be talked about. We need to get into this. In reference to the Miami Hurricanes debacle from this weekend, should Congress pass a law that all NFL/college football teams that have any random 13-year-old who plays Madden in the booth with a direct line to the head coach to tell them how to manage late game clock situations?
Yes. The answer is yes. We need more tweens and teens managing NFL teams and college teams because they know way more than the coaches. Sorry.
Did you saw the Miami thing? Yeah.
Yes, I did. And it turns out, JJ, that's not a one-time situation.
Yeah.
The head coach does that every time.
He did that in Oregon, and they lost a game, I believe, like 6 years ago or something like that.
Just kneel on it. So if folks don't know what we're talking about, the Miami Hurricanes head coach doesn't believe in kneeling to run out the clock in end of game situations. I guess this is against his love of freedom. I can't even imagine. This guy's politics have to be outrageously bad, I have to say. So he hands it off to a guy, to his running back, and the running back loses a fumble. Georgia Tech picks it up, recovers it. They throw a touchdown for the win. Miami loses just because they wouldn't kneel down. This is not the first time it's happened. It's actually unbelievable. How is this guy not fired immediately after the game?
Yeah, it's awful, not only from the perspective of like you fumbled the ball because you put your team in a situation that they didn't even need to be in, but then you played the defense that you played and you let them score in like 5 seconds. Like you let that happen.
You did it. It's all your fault.
Yeah, it's worse than making a trade in fantasy football and then that player that you no, I mean, that's not even your fault. I'm thinking that the player that you traded got hurt or something like that. By the way, in my home league, I traded away Justin Jefferson last week.
What?
How lucky did I get?
Wait, JJ, why? I'm sorry. Why did you do that?
Yeah, I because my team was in shambles. I had my RB1 was Roshan Johnson, and still not anymore because I traded. I'm not going to talk about what the trade was.
Okay.
But I got running backs in return. One of them being like I think Travis Etienne was one of them.
Right.
And so. But it was like Etienne and Achane or something like that I got because I needed running back help more than anything. And I already had Amon-Ra St. Brown and Chris Olave. And so I made this trade and Justin Jefferson now is in the position that he's in now. You want to talk about luck?
But you got Achane.
Yeah, I know, but I also got Etienne.
Oh,
right now, are you trade? And by the way, in a vacuum, a trade like that probably wouldn't have done. It's just that, there's a very specific situation for my team and my league. But right now you're taking ETN over Justin Jefferson all day.
Yeah.
Like right now today. No, even if Justin Jefferson comes back in 4 weeks, you're still taking ETN over Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm trying to think of some sort of parallel to that situation, like what it would feel like, and I can't even think of one.
It's just like irresponsible. It's like clearly you're not committed to winning if you're just not going to kneel down and end the game. Like I mean that's as simple. I'm not overstating it, right? I mean the
No,
game would have been over if they just kneeled down.
correct. Like this is why when people give nerds crap online about not knowing ball, like this is why like we can't assume that people in positions of power have any idea what they're doing.
No, you have to assume they don't, honestly. Like Josh McDaniels had another fiasco on Monday night
Oh God, yeah.
with his late game decision making. That guy, he needs a 12-year-old who plays Madden to tell him what to do at the end of games. He just does.
Yeah, I think that the and we've talked about this on the show before, but like I think the problem is that people think that when a nerd like Ben Baldwin, sorry buddy, you're a nerd. What when he comes out, he's got his fourth down bot and stuff, and he says, "Hey, they should have punted here, or they should have kicked a field goal here, or they should have gone for it here." And people see that and they're like, "You have no idea what you're talking about. Like you don't know football. You've never coached a team." And it's like, yeah, Ben's not gonna go and lead a team out of the locker room and get them fired up to go play a game, but he can do this specific task. He knows how to do this thing, and it's okay to say, "Oh, this guy who knows football." I mean, I believe he knows football pretty well. But regardless of that, like they can still add something for these coaches and these guys who are you know
Yeah. No.
these alphas that are leading these teams and these football heads. And I just it's so irritating that people still have that mentality and the take.
Yeah, I mean we've talked about it a lot on the show over the years, but like the idea that to follow the numbers is like uh I don't know, I don't even know how to, like, unmasculine. I mean, I guess
Yeah,
it's
right.
like that's why I think Dan Campbell, it can be such an important figure in this whole discourse, is because nobody is more traditionally masculine than Dan Campbell.
Yeah,
Nobody, okay?
right.
And he loves the numbers and he cites analytics all the time, and I like that. I like that about him. I like that he's a big, strong, beefy dude who loves numbers.
Yeah, right. Now clip that and throw that on social media. That'll do.
Oh, somebody's
that'll
gonna
do
do it.
That'll do real well. Next question at boo_da_pest. When you unload the dishwasher, so not load, unload the dishwasher. By the way, I don't know if you guys heard, but I have a third rack in my dishwasher. Do you put your drinking glasses away right side up or upside down? I recently became dish pilled when a coworker explained upside down is a remnant from the Dust Bowl era, and right side up keeps the glass lip from touching the dirty cupboard surface.
Yes. I think it's gross to put it down upside
Yeah,
down.
I don't. But the problem is, yeah, I mean, we put them up for sure when we're at least I do when we're unloading.
Yeah.
The only hard part sometimes is if they're stackable cups or something where
Okay.
they need to be in a certain position where they need, and if it's right side up, then sometimes it becomes too top heavy, and then you can't actually, you're afraid they're going to fall down. That's the only time, in my opinion, where it's acceptable to
Right.
put it the other way.
I guess, but like, okay, I didn't know the Dust Bowl thing. That's interesting and funny. But I also think it's like super gross. Like the inside of our cabinets, I'm sorry, but have not been cleaned in a long, long time. So I don't want to put
I don't remember. I mean, we put like lining and stuff down
Yeah,
inside
we have lining. Yeah.
Yeah, but we haven't. Yeah. I mean, I
But
don't remember.
I'm not wiping those down.
No, I don't remember. By the way, you know what we had for the first time in my life? We had a mouse.
What do you mean?
We had a mouse.
Oh,
coming
like
into
an actual mouse in your house.
an actual one. And I'll tell you what, there's nothing that freaks me out more than
Yeah.
like a mouse.
It's scary.
Yeah,
I'll admit.
like
Yeah.
it's frightening, and we knew exactly where it was coming up from, like, because we got a bunch of yard work done, and I think it disturbed like the life around our home,
Yeah.
and the mouse was coming in, and so we had pest control come out and like fix it and stuff, fix the issue and whatnot. But that's not a fun time. Is mice?
No.
They're not fun.
I was watching TV with Melissa about 4 years ago, and a mouse ran out from under the TV and ran right under our feet. And Melissa, she nearly died. I mean, she actually.
That's the thing. I get this feeling. It's a similar feeling that whenever I'm lying in bed and I don't have my feet covered with the blanket, it's the same feeling that I get. I feel like things are going to come up and just like get my feet. And a mouse scurrying around would drive me nuts. Fortunately, this mouse was literally just in our pantry and then would leave and then would go. It would never come out of where the pantry was. It would just come up for like a minute, get some stuff that it thought that it could get, and then it would leave. Someone in the chat saying get a cat. I would do that if cats were actually good.
We had a cat, JJ, and the cat didn't do anything about it. He completely was useless. I ended up killing the mouse with a mouse trap, and then turns out there were like a dozen more.
Oh man, that's this one was evidently an isolated incident. You know how the pest people do it now. Someone said in chat, fix the issue. Yeah, they fixed the issue. They K'd the M. Okay, and so the mouse comes in, and they set these traps now where they eat these little like pebbles, right? And they don't trap them in like a traditional mouse trap. At least these people don't, because oftentimes that'll happen and the mouse will die and you won't realize it's dead and it'll smell and it'll be really, really gross, right? So what they do now is they give them these pellets that they're really attracted to, and they eat the pellets and it kills them from the inside. And so they decompose differently, and it's just like all so there's probably in my crawl space, there's probably like a dead mouse just hanging out there.
Yep, I'm thinking it's true. Josh Kettles in the chat says, "Did you exclaim of all the days?"
Yeah,
exactly. Today,
exactly.
Why, mouse? Why?
Jake said it's safe to say JJ isn't a cat guy. Yeah, I'm not a cat guy. Look, cats are fine. I was a little bit, I'm in a mood right now, so I said what I said. Maybe regret it a little bit, but we do have a neighborhood cat that's always in our stuff, and so that cat is worthless too. I mean, that cat's not doing anything for these mice.
Falling down on the job.
I'm not. I mean, my dog is like Denny's dog. I mean, I've also realized that I am not that much of even a dog. I'm not that much of an animal person.
No, I don't like dogs. Like I only like one dog.
Yeah, right. And so, but like, how there are people, like, I don't mind dogs. Like I will pet them and hang out with them. And we've had Henry for 13 years now. But I will never be the person who's walking down the street with us, just walking down and seeing a dog and stopping and going absolutely berserk because there's this cute dog, and I have to pet the dog and I have to scratch his side, make him kick his leg a little bit. I'm never going to be that person. I'm not that. It's not part of my brain.
Can I tell you, this is problematic, I'm sure, for dog people, but I think all big dogs are ugly. Sorry.
Most of them, I'm not totally. I mean, that's an extreme take. Some of them are very I like golden retrievers and stuff. Like I think that they can be very cute, but a lot of it is like I find it more of a nuisance when like I'm in an environment with them and I'm trying to like sit on the couch and do something, and they're just like jumping all over the place and slobbering and just being obnoxious. Whereas Henry is the size of a cat. I mean, he's like 20 pounds now, but he's not a very big dog. And he's still a very sweet little guy, and he's not that hard to take care of.
My dog Ziggy's 10 pounds. He's a good boy. He's a cute boy. That's what I like.
Yeah. So if that turns you guys off, I'm sorry. All right, we're just being honest here. Next question at Steak Knife Ob. Obviously, it's a steak knife. I'm getting married in a month. Any general advice or words of wisdom would be greatly appreciated. First off, obviously,
oh no, JJ, you're glitching, man. I don't know.
Congratulations. Yeah, this is bad. This is. I mean, I see you fine, but you
I'm
clearly
not
don't see
hearing
me,
you
okay?
either. I can take it from here if you want, then
Go.
again, I can't end the show.
That's fine.
Okay, you good? Okay, goodbye, JJ. I think JJ's left the building. JJ left the building, folks. We are on. I think he has. No, you're still here. Hey, no,
Yeah, I'm
yes.
here. I'm gonna be around, but we're gonna have to. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I'll cut the audio for the podcast. Keep the stream going for this.
Oh, okay. All right. Look, the marriage advice. Stop doing stuff for yourself. That's my that's my best advice. You got to think of someone besides yourself. That's something that I struggled with when I got married, where I was thinking, oh no, I can just keep operating the way I always have. It turns out that's not exactly it. I'm not going to be your marriage counselor unless you want to pay me to do so. But that is the one thing I would offer. Let's do a few more questions from the folks from this week. Jonathan Bruce Keene at jkeen22. Can we revisit wiping standing up versus wiping sitting down? I would like to not revisit it, honestly, but if we have to, I guess I will, and say, what in the world are you doing if you're standing up? What are you doing, man? You got just stay down, get it done. No standing up. Let's be real there. And let's see. All right, we're gonna go. Oh, we have a good one from Chris.
Of all days, Denny. Of all days. Okay, I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna let you go.
He's back.
I know this isn't gonna last. Just do your thing.
Okay. At Chris H. Riley. This is such a weird situation. Rank all the lengths of socks. No show socks, ankle socks, low cut socks, mid calf socks, tube socks, and thigh highs. Well, I've never worn thigh highs. I will be honest about that. So okay, for me, the no show socks are interesting, but I don't get them. They fall off my feet. Like they slip down. And do you know how uncomfortable it is? Like I'm pretty sure the CIA would torture people by putting no-show socks on them and just saying, walk around, buddy, walk around, because it's horrible. It's horrible. So that's off. Ankle socks are probably the call here. Low cut, I guess that's like not quite ankle, like a little higher. I feel like that's kind of awkward. Maybe that's just the dad in me, but that's an awkward length. And then mid calf, I'm not cool enough to wear mid calf socks. I'm sorry. JJ, do you wear mid calf socks? Can you hear me?
Yes.
You wear mid calf socks?
Can you hear me?
I can.
So I had a big sock dilemma. This is about 6 to 12 months ago. And I had always been an ankle sock guy, right? And it's not totally no show, but just like an athletic sock, right? Can you still hear me? Am I still doing all right?
Yeah. Right. Go ahead. Yep.
Okay, good. I feel like I'm in a different country right now, and I'm reporting to you. So I had this dilemma, and I'm like, you know what? I need to buy new socks and be cooler, because clearly these like athletic ankle socks just aren't in anymore. And so I bought socks that were not quite big enough in terms of height, and it made me look like I was an old man, because they went up, it's the quarter, or what are they, quarter length socks or whatever, right? Those are just the weird in between. They're like capris. I mean, no one needs to wear those, right?
I don't know what you do with them. What do you wear them for?
Does. Right. And so I did end up I have taller socks now. I mean, they're mid calf socks. I let them naturally fall a little bit whenever I'm like moving around and stuff, and they'll scrunch up, a little bit, but I just went for it because that's what's more in. And I like it. It's not bad.
All right. I'll take it. I will take it. And then the thigh highs, Is this something you've ever?
Yeah, I mean, thigh highs are what you wear in Alaska. I don't know who's wearing thigh highs in most American states.
I don't either. I did wear some really long socks. So I actually went to a Halloween party in 2015 as a camp counselor from Camp Crystal Lake, the one in Friday the 13th, right? And so that was from the 80s. And so I wore socks that were above my knee, actually. They were insanely long. And I was deeply uncomfortable the whole time, but I was committed to the costume first and foremost. So I did not regret that. All right, let's do one more. And then we will head out so JJ can go get some Comcast internet, maybe.
Yeah, I'm going to rage. I'm going to rage on AT&T after this.
Oh, here we go. At Sean MD Terps says, what's your personal most down bad sports fandom time? Baltimore is hurting from this weekend. Baltimore, of course, my Orioles are going to lose to the Rangers. And then the Ravens dropped 7 passes on their way to losing to JJ Steelers. So I'll just start. I think my worst, the down baddest I've ever been is when the Dolphins lost to the Ravens in the playoffs at home, 6-3. The Dolphins' only points came on a fumble recovery on the opening kickoff, and they kicked a field goal after going 3 and out, and that was it. That was the entire output for that game. I have never been more down bad.
Mine is when Tim Tebow beat the Steelers in the playoffs.
Oh.
Period.
Yeah.
That was most. I was watching with a buddy, and he was a Bengals fan because I was living in Cincinnati at the time, and even he felt bad for me.
Oh,
in that moment,
that was rough.
The Demaryius Thomas, Ike Taylor completely messed up that play, and Ike Taylor was a monster for years, and rough time for me there. Rough time.
Yeah, I can imagine. All right. Well,
when it happened, I was just gonna say when it happened, the first thing I said was, "Of all days, of all days."
Well, you could have handled that on Saturday. You could have handled it on Monday, but you could not have handled it on Sunday.
Yeah, of all freaking days. All right. I don't know if you can hear me right now or not. Why don't you close out the show yourself? You can close things out this week.
All right, folks, you can find JJ on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Late Round QB. You can find me at CD Carter 13. I'm also on Blue Sky. I'm posting more and more on Blue Sky, folks. We're trying to get JJ over there. We're efforting big time. And check out my regression files on Roto World coming out on Wednesday. JJ, what do you have coming up?
My podcast and stuff like that, my Patreon. You can check everything out at lateround.com.
Lateround.com.
Good to go?
Folks,
good to go?
We're going to go get a milkshake of all days on this day.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you for listening to Live in the Stream. We hope you enjoyed the internet podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes now. It won't take long, it's fast. For more fantasy football info, check out
lateround.com and NBC Sports Edge.
Hope you come back soon as we share about the teams and as we live in the stream.